Avatar Korra faced some absolutely massive challenges in her time as the Avatar. Sheltered from the world her entire life, Korra forged her own path in an age where public figures faced more scrutiny than ever before, and she faced threats that her predecessors probably could never have dreamed of. Every Avatar is different. While this heroic figure that helps maintain balance between the four nations is reincarnated every generation, each new Avatar is still an individual with agency that faces new challenges unique to their time period. This is what makes the concept of the Avatar so engaging, and it's the reason I'm tired of the constant questioning of which Avatar is best. The truth is, each Avatar handled the obstacles set in front of them in ways that were true to their own spirit, and in this new video series, I'm going to examine these specific aspects of each Avatar. And today I'm going to break down why I believe Korra is the most resilient Avatar the Four Nations has ever seen. I think people too often gloss over Korra's life prior to the series premiere. Until she was 17 years old, she lived an incredibly sheltered life with little to no experience in the outside world. At no fault of her own, might I add. When she reaches Republic City, this is essentially her first time seeing anything outside of the Southern Water Tribe. Korra not only has to adapt to being a public figure in a massive metropolis, but to an entirely new way of life. That's why so much of her first day in Republic City was such a mess. Many people solely equate the Avatar's effectiveness to their bending abilities, but Korra's bending prowess wasn't something that prepared her for the realities of being a social and political leader. In fact, this was seemingly the first time Korra had ever really socialized with anyone at all. Not to mention the advances in technology pushed the Avatar to the forefront of society and led to more public scrutiny than ever before. Aside from being the most publicly accessible Avatar in world history, Korra also had the added pressure of Aang's legacy on her shoulders, from both society and the fans of the franchise. Aang is obviously one of the most impressive and important Avatars in history, ending the 100-Year War and changing the face of the world by founding Republic City. His statue literally looms over the city, a constant reminder of that legacy that Korra had to live up to. I think it's safe to say that Korra faced more societal pressure than almost any Avatar before her. Despite the constant pressures to live up to Aang, Korra found her own path as the Avatar, and rightfully so. The Avatar should be true to themselves. This concept was explored very heavily at the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender, as Aang himself forged his own path in the fight against Fire Lord Ozai, refusing to kill the war criminal and instead taking away his bending. In many ways, forging her own path was the best way Korra could have honored Aang's legacy. On top of these societal pressures, the foes that Korra faced through the series uniquely attacked her own personal insecurities. Because of Korra's aforementioned sheltered upbringing, she predicated her entire identity on being the Avatar. This was never an issue for Aang, who was raised by monks and became an airbending master before he ever knew he was the Avatar. Korra was confirmed to be the Avatar at an incredibly young age, and this not only molded her upbringing, but her life goals and state of mind as well. Amon was a villain who was literally fighting against the existence of bending itself, and bending all four elements is obviously something that defines the Avatar. The series very intentionally shows Korra's deep-seated fear of losing her bending to Amon, something that would take away Korra's entire sense of identity. In fact, when Amon eventually does take away Korra's bending, Korra specifically states that she isn't the Avatar anymore. This might be a dark conclusion to draw from this scene, but I think there are major implications to Korra retreating to this cliff. Korra knows the world needs the Avatar to maintain balance, and she also believes that without the ability to bend all four elements, she is no longer the Avatar. I believe that in this moment, Korra was contemplating ending it all to allow the Avatar cycle to continue. Aang even says that Korra was at her lowest point in this moment. That is an immense amount of pressure, and the mental stress of the situation cannot be understated. Korra basically had to weigh if her continued existence was going to be detrimental to the balance of the world. That is a lot for a 17-year-old to cope with. But, like I said, Korra is resilient. Things didn't ease up for Korra after the events of Book 1. In Book 2, Korra's family is torn apart by her uncle Unalaq, who seizes control of the Southern Water Tribe and falsely imprisons her father. Not long after this, Korra is brutally attacked by a massive dark spirit and believed to be dead. And of course, the main villains of Book 2, Unalaq and Vaatu, once again directly attack Korra's sense of identity. Unalaq attempts to literally replace Korra as a dark avatar by fusing with Vaatu and destroying Rava, Korra's avatar spirit, as well as her connection to the previous avatars. As Korra's sense of self still relies so heavily on being the Avatar, this is another massive blow. Her inability to defeat Vaatu directly results in the end of the Avatar cycle, and Korra's greatest fear, a failure to uphold the Avatar legacy. She would be the last Avatar. But despite her failures, Korra doesn't give up and achieves what is arguably the most impressive feat in her time as Avatar. Without the Avatar spirit, Korra looks deep within herself and discovers a new sense of identity, one wholly her own. With energy bending and the aid of harmonic convergence, Korra is able to draw out her own spirit and faces off against the seemingly unstoppable Vaatu by herself. To be clear, these aren't portrayed as Korra's avatar abilities. This is all Korra, without the light spirit Rava or even her ability to bend all 4 elements. Korra is able to draw Rava's spirit out of Vaatu, and spirit bends Vaatu out of existence. Despite the overwhelming odds and pressure of 10,000 years of darkness enveloping the 4 nations, Korra drew from within to save the world. She reconnected with Rava and renewed the Avatar cycle. The aftermath of Book 2 created major change for the 4 nations. Korra's decision to leave the spirit portals open had a major effect on the world at large, allowing the spirits to roam freely in the real world, and also reviving the Air Nation by granting seemingly random members of the world with the ability to airbend. But these changes didn't come without new challenges. The spirit vines created by Vaatu spread far across Republic City, and despite literally saving the world from 10,000 years of darkness, the blame was placed entirely on Korra. Being the world's most important public figure in this new age of information was not easy, and even after her massive triumph over Vaatu, she was criticized to the point where President Raiko banned her from Republic City outright. But Korra took this opportunity to continue to help reshape the world in a positive way, by traveling the globe and recruiting airbenders for the new Air Nation. Even when placed in an unfair situation, Korra found opportunity to help the world. Of course, the revival of the Airbenders also gave rebirth to one of Korra's most dangerous foes, Zahir and the Red Lotus. We're told that even without any bending ability, Zahir was one of the most dangerous individuals to ever grace the planet, and with his newfound airbending abilities, Korra faced an incredible challenge that once again preyed on her identity as the Avatar. Though Korra found a sense of identity within herself, she still faced immense pressure from the legacy of the Avatar title, and the Red Lotus's goal was to flat out end the Avatar cycle. Korra didn't shy away from the challenge though. Despite the Red Lotus nearly kidnapping her, Korra attempted to hunt down Zahir herself. And when Zahir held the entire new Air Nation hostage, Korra offered herself to the Red Lotus to save their lives. The resulting incident is one of the most painful things we've ever seen an Avatar go through. The Red Lotus injected Korra with a deadly metallic poison. Close to death, Korra's body was forced into the Avatar state. But despite Korra being debilitatingly poisoned, chained up, and facing 3 of the world's strongest and most evil benders, Korra was able to break free and fight through the near-death experience. This is just another testament to her resilience. Korra was able to fight off the poison while chasing down Zahir in their final battle. And though she needed a little help from the new Air Nation to take Zahir down, Korra's ability to continue to fight while so close to death is one of the most impressive things we've seen from an Avatar. Later in Book 4, Zahir would even recall this event, claiming that the poison should have killed her, and that her power is in fact limitless. These events of course led to the most difficult period of Korra's life. Despite surviving the poisoning attempt, Korra was left paralyzed and incapacitated, and the effects lingered for 3 more years. For those 3 long years, Korra's worst insecurities haunted her as well. Korra feared the world didn't actually need her. These fears were made clear by the final tear-filled moments of Book 3. I want to point out that all of the events of Books 1 through 3 happen within 1 single year. There are 6 months between Books 1 and 2, and just a couple of weeks between Books 2 and 3. Korra went from being completely sheltered to going through some of the most painful, identity-shattering events imaginable, all within 1 year. Through it all, she saved the world multiple times. These events were incredibly traumatic, not only physically, but mentally, as showcased throughout Book 4. Korra's return to the world was incredibly rocky, but she never gave up. Despite overcoming the paralysis, Korra's lingering PTSD from fighting Zahir regularly consumed her in battle, and also prevented her from reaching the Avatar state. Korra continued to seek answers on her own. She faced these obstacles head-on, metal bending the remaining poison out of her own body, an incredibly painful process. But each time she took a step forward, she seemed to be pushed back. When facing the New Earth Empire dictator Kuvira, Korra's PTSD from her battle with Zahir flared back up, and she faced a humiliating defeat, allowing Kuvira to take control of Zaofu and kidnap Su and her family. But once again, Korra tackled her fears head-on, confronting Zahir face to face. Korra was able to accept the trauma she endured and move forward. And with her newfound strength, Korra took down one of the most powerful benders in history in a one-on-one fight. Despite overwhelming pain and trauma, Korra fought back relentlessly to do her duty and maintain balance between the 4 nations. Korra's resilience is what makes her a truly special Avatar. The battles she faced were relentless and personal, and they not only battled her physically, but psychologically. They attacked her abilities and her insecurities in ways the world had never seen, all while facing the most intense public scrutiny any Avatar had ever dealt with. Every Avatar we've ever seen has showcased a high degree of resilience, but I don't believe any have showcased that resilience on the level of Avatar Korra. It saved the world multiple times over and shifted the course of history in immeasurably positive ways. Thanks to Korra, humans and spirits can commune freely, the Air Nation was revived, The Earth Kingdom was spared from a ruthless dictatorship, and she did it all by forging her own path and accepting her destiny on her own terms. The real-world reaction to Legend of Korra strangely mirrors the in-universe reaction to Korra as an avatar. Being held up to Aang's legacy and existing in his shadow caused many people to push back on how Korra handled things. It made them question her capabilities as an avatar. Personally, I think if you dislike Korra for handling things differently than Aang, then you're missing the entire point of the franchise. The Avatar is still an individual, and her resilience is one of the major reasons I believe Korra is a great Avatar. Folks, if you like this breakdown of Avatar Korra, please stay tuned. I've got a lot of Avatar and Korra videos planned, including ones on Aang, Wan, Kirik, Kyoshi, Roku, all of the greats, and keep an eye out for those in the near future, as well as many other Avatar-related videos. And do not forget to do the thing, and I'll catch you next time.
Johnny to Cellos!